Hi, my name is Dr. Farah Bukhari, and I was reading all the tweets that Donald Trump has been writing nonstop in regards to the people of color um, that are representing in the US Congress, that according to Donald Trump should leave the United States because they are people of color, and because they have no right to live in US, let alone have the right to represent the Americans. I think we are looking at the historic lowest moment in the history of the United States that any president, any US president, has presented himself as. And this is technically one of those moments when you're like, seriously, this country is run by a fascist, fanatic, white supremacist who's racist, who hates colored people, who hates Hispanics, who hates blacks, who hates anybody other than the whites, and who thinks this is justifiable in the name of patriotism, which is totally ridiculous because the US Constitution is based upon including all minorities, giving them equal opportunities, giving them equal freedom of expression, freedom of religion, tolerance, coexistence. And this US president is just the opposite, totally the opposite of what the US Constitution was all about. And then then he says that these people of color hate America, and this is a free country, and they hate America, so they should leave America. You know what? Have you ever seen that mother who's trying to fix her child who is going rogue and going crazy, doing really bad things to other people, behaving really bad? Would you say that that mother hates her child? So calling Ilhan and Rashida or any other so-called U.S. representative who has color and who looks different, calling them names like haters, that they're not patriotic, they hate America, they're doing this because they hate the country, is so stupid. I mean, this is the height of stupidity coming from the White House, that if you're trying to fix the rogue policies of the US government that has been responsible for massive invasions and massive displacements, technically destroying the peace in the last few decades, that does not mean that the people who are trying to fix the mess, they hate the country. And amongst these people who are trying to fix this mess are also people who are white, like Bernie Sanders, who are Jews, like Bernie Sanders, who do not have color, who are not Muslims. So saying that it is the quality of the people of color to hate America and to hate the freedom of America is ridiculous, because it is not just the minorities that are trying to fix this rogue nation. It is also a lot of other people, a lot of the people who fall in the category of the majority of Americans who are trying to fix the rogue policies of the US government that have been responsible for the demise of so many children in drone attacks and invasions that shouldn't have been done, that should have been thought about. We have one coming up right now, the Iran invasion that we are talking about right now, any minute, that Trump is so much adamant about. And what is absolutely shocking over here is that Trump ran his election campaign against Hillary Clinton claiming that he was against the Iraq invasion. He was against all these invasions as compared to Hillary, who was for these invasions. And I think he got popular on the basis of this fact that he ran his election slogan as that of being peaceful, that of being against war, that of being against invasions. And now he is saying that anybody who confronts him against the Venezuela invasion or against the upcoming Iranian invasion is a hater of the country and should leave the country. I mean, this is totally ridiculous, and this can only come from someone who has got the mental level of a child, literally, who has no maturity, no sense of maturity about what he should say, who has some sort of an underlying undiagnosed psychiatric disorder, who does not have the sense that he could be hurting the feelings of millions of people who are living within the US, and who is also hurting the image of United States. And this was the so-called country of opportunities where immigrants could come and give it their best and get the best. And now it has turned into an immigrant hater. What is happening at the border and what ICE is doing to those children in the concentration camps, it is the hallmark of Trump's presidency, that stands for hate and bigotry and racism. And he thinks he has improved the economy. I don't think so. US became a superpower and a super economy based upon the success of its immigrants, based upon the innovative entrepreneurship of its immigrants. And if this was not done, if they were not given equal opportunity, if they were not treated as equals, it would have never become a superpower. And now saying that, oh, the Dems want the borders to be all open so that the immigrants can come and bring crime and bring drugs with them. I mean, seriously, the immigrants brought the wealth into the United States. There is tangible, credible data to confirm this fact that the immigrants are the ones responsible to make United States the superpower of the world, the super economy of the world. And what Trump is trying to do right now is just totally trying to wreck apart the economy of the United States by making it an immigrant hostile country from being an immigrant friendly country. And what I don't seem to understand is that why are the Americans letting him get away with so much racism, hate, bigotry, white supremacy, religious intolerance, and fascism and fanaticism? He's converting this country into an Auschwitz compound. He's on the verge of imposing, he's already imposed a Holocaust on the immigrants. Look at what's going on in the concentration camps at the border. I challenge Donald Trump to come and visit these concentration camps that he set up himself for the immigrants, and check for himself how these children who are born in US, they are being treated by the law enforcement agencies of the United States. This is a complete human rights violation. And no matter how much you can buy these human rights organizations so that they're not talking about it and they are not, doing as much activism as they're supposed to against this, the fact remains unchanged that this is a big blemish. This is a huge blemish on the presidency of Trump. And this is going to isolate the United States from the rest of the nations of the world. And US is going to lose its allies. And what I'm seeing is the beginning of the same feelings that happen in most of the previous revolutions in the history of the world, that when the minorities, they start feeling threatened by the tyrannical regimes that are going against the constitution of a country, the minorities start to rebel. And the minorities, when they rebel, they start asking for a separate homeland, and they start working towards a separate homeland. So what he is trying to do is he's technically creating a stage for the African Americans to ask for a separate homeland, for the Hispanic Americans to ask for a separate homeland, for the people of color to start asking for a separate homeland, to break up this United States into 10, 15 pieces, because Trump is breeding so much of intolerance, hate, bigotry in the name of patriotism over here. And then when he says that the worst thing, the biggest mess that he has made is that he's saying that he has a lot of Americans who endorse his opinion, which means he's saying that there is a majority of Americans who endorse his white supremacy, and they are willing to convert this country into an Auschwitz concentration camp for the minorities, against the Constitution, against the law. And what he just said was a complete official announcement that he is going to war, that the white supremacists that he stands for, that he represents, who are very happy to humiliate and insult the people of color living in the US, these white supremacists are declaring a war against the rest of the Americans. And now these rest of the Americans are not just the people of color, but they're also those people who are fighting for those people of color. So do you realize what this guy is trying to do? He's trying to incite a civil crisis within the United States. And he's a recipe for disaster. And I'm surprised at why is the US Supreme Court so quiet about this. This guy is committing so much of crime, sitting in the topmost house of this country, doing so many things against the Constitution of this country. And the US Supreme Court is snoozing, literally sleeping. And my concern is that that time is coming when this country will erupt like a volcano, and the silent, quiet revolution that we are seeing right now at the border, where people are protesting against the oppression committed by ICE against the immigrants. This revolution is going to expand throughout the US. The civil crisis is going to start where when the minorities start feeling threatened, they are going to start organizing. When they start organizing, they're going to start rebelling. When they start rebelling, they're going to ask for separate homelands. They're going to ask for independence, because if the constitutional if the Constitution of the United States and the constitutional clauses that protect the rights of the minorities are not implemented, against the rants of this dictator, we are looking at complete chaos. And I'm sure a lot of Americans, good-hearted Americans, God-fearing Americans, and humanitarian people who believe in humanity and who believe in tolerance and coexistence, they're going to fight for the rights of the minorities. and they're going to even risk their own lives to be able to fight for the rights of the minorities, including the blacks, including the Hispanics, including the Muslims, including the Jews, including anybody who is a non-white American. So when this happens, we are going to be looking at a complete disaster in the US. And then the worst thing is that this guy has access to the nuclear assets of the United States. And he's not a mentally stable person, because he's acting like a child, that he thinks he can say whatever he wants to, and he thinks he can get away with saying whatever he wants to, because he's been allowed to get away with whatever he says. And when he ran his campaign, everybody knew he was a racist, but still he won the elections. He got a chance to be able to come to the White House. He got a chance to be able to run this country. And he proved again and again and again that he is a diehard racist, that he has issues with people of color. And now you're seeing this trend now targeted to the point that he's saying he's got a huge following of people who will support his racist bigotry. And what I don't understand is that where is the United States Supreme Court? Why aren't we petitioning this guy, impeaching this guy, getting him down before this country turns into a complete disaster? And then again, calling Ilhan, Rashida, Tulsi, Bernie Sanders, the Democrats, haters of United States just because they're trying to fix the rogue policies that have led to such a big disaster all over the world. That is stupid, because like I said, if a mother sees her child doing something wrong, like picking up a pistol and going on killing everybody around him, what is that mother going to do? That mother is going to try to stop her child, try to fix her child. She will even spank her child if she has to try to stop her child from going crazy and killing other people, killing innocent people. So what did the United States do in the past so many years? United States government was responsible for the killing of millions of people, out of which there were so many civilians. The collateral damage that was done with the drone attacks, with the Iraq invasion, with the Afghanistan invasion, everybody knows what happened in those invasions. So if these Democrats are trying to change the policies of the United States government so that this does not happen again, how is that equivalent to hating? How is that equivalent to being unpatriotic? I think this is the most patriotic thing you can do for your country, is to try to fix your country's policies that were responsible for causing so much damage to the rest of the world, and that were done with ill intent, that were done for the war profiteering of a few mafia leaders like Dick Cheney, Rupert Murdoch, and Jacob Rothschild, and that were done to expand the agenda of a foreign nation like Israel at the cost of the lives of American soldiers, at the cost of the revenue and the economy of the American people, hemorrhaging trillions of dollars in unnecessary wars that should have been avoided, that should have been prevented, that should have been stopped. So I think before it is too late, my simple message is that the U.S. Supreme Court should stop this guy from bringing the whole house down, because that is what he's trying to do. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.